We're back. Episode 7 of the Tailgate Show. Gonna be we know we have our college football previews and NFL previews that are gonna come this summer. Probably next Sunday we'll start, I think, our first official one. We're gonna have we're gonna try to get some guests in, people that will pay attention, follow college football, and we're gonna have my uncle Ruben on at some point. He's a Clemson fan. He's willing to talk college football because that's what he pays attention to the most. And then anybody else that's willing to join also. But so just to kind of outline it, I think I talked to Chief, and I think we're gonna go conference by conference through our college football previews. We're gonna do breakdowns of each one. That way we're not cramming too much into one episode. We can go through a conference and then we can talk about some contenders, teams that we like, some teams that we don't like, and even us being Gamecock fans, we're gonna be as unbiased and impartial as we can, because even as Gamecock fans, me and Chief are not gonna sit here and be like, yep, we're gonna win the national championship or we're gonna go undefeated, because it's not realistic for us. We know kind of where we're at. So anyways, but although I will get to this, but I have been hearing that a couple people that have been following and report for 24/7 Sports and stuff are saying that the South Carolina team this year is going to be like 2024, but 2.0. That's what they're saying. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But
listen,
anyways,
at least we don't say we're not biased. We don't really have a team, and like people on radio and stuff, on talk radio and on these shows and stuff, and you listen to them and you know who their teams are. Their team will be playing Georgia, and they're like, oh yeah, Georgia's in trouble. We're not like that. We're probably biased and a little bit leaning, but I mean, I think I'm not going to give anything away. I'm going to wait, but. Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to be like, that guy is a South Carolina fan when I give out my picks. So, because I think I've got most of the SEC done. Yeah. But we're going to go conference by conference. We're going to do the Power Four. We're going to start with the Big 12. Then we're going to go to the ACC, and then the Big 10, and then the SEC. And then, we may have a little discussion about, who we think is the better overall conference. The only thing people can say is now people are saying, well, it's been, 2-3 years and the SEC hasn't won a national championship. There's trouble for them. These are the same people that when we won like 16 out of 18, they're like, well, that doesn't matter. So it does matter. But here's the thing. There's difference, okay, because you got like a top 3 teams from a conference, and that's pretty close or whatever. But when you get in the middle and the bottom, that's what tells you about the conference, because when we say, well, the SEC is better than the Big 10. You're not trying. When I say that, I'm not trying to say, because Texas and Georgia, and I mean, I don't know, LSU maybe or whatever, but Ole Miss the last couple of years, we're not saying, oh, they're better than Ohio State and now Oregon, and of course Indiana. So, it's not saying that. All right. And then another thing that people always use is bowl records, which can't be counted because there's so many opt-outs.
A lot of people don't play.
And just to defend the Clemson fans, the Pinstripe Bowl this last year, they lost. How many people did? I mean, I'm surprised they even were able to field a team. I mean, they had so many people that wouldn't go. I mean, that's a big deal. So, but we're going to talk about that. So we're going to go, and then after that, we're going to do all of the group teams, all of the other
G5,
Division I, all the other, FBS schools. So it used to be, Power 5 and Group of 5, but now it's Power 4 because the Pac-12 does not exist anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, and we'll go through that, and then we'll probably do a couple segments where we go like by positions and stuff like that, maybe like the top 5 guys at each position and stuff.
I think we should also give we should also give our college football playoff predictions.
And then we're going to do a show where we do the whole show is just us picking that. So, and that's going to take a lot. And then of course we're going to do the NFL.
Yep.
And we'll probably either do, AFC show, NFC show, or maybe like an AFC, maybe like a quick AFC where we go through all the teams, and then an NFC, and then have a show where we pick our teams to win everything. So, because we're going to put it on the record. what we're doing. I think we were talking about that. I don't know if we totally worked that out yet. So
we got time because I think we're going to
yeah,
start with college football. So those who are
yeah,
wondering, college football
absolutely.
is going to come first,
Yeah.
and then it'll give us time to work on the NFL stuff.
And
But
and an update: the Dodgers are still up 4-zip on the Phillies in the fourth inning.
the
So
feels good. Ace is probably going to at least join us for a good bit of that for some of the
yeah,
college football stuff. And, he'll give his predictions too. So we'll have all of us. And then obviously we'll probably get Ruben in when we give predictions for playoff and stuff, see what his teams are.
I'll tell you
And
what
then
I'd
we
like
can
to
all put it on
have.
record. So.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'd like to have. I'd like to have a Big Ten person, come on for that show, and then maybe somebody with the Pac-12, and then I don't know, working on the possibility of having someone from one of the service academies on for, so we just gotta have to schedule that out, but we're working on it. So
yeah,
but that's the plan. And then of course the NFL. I'm really excited about that too. A little more excited about that than I am college. I still, I grew up in college football country, but I like the NFL a little more. At times it's been pretty even, but so we're gonna do all of that.
It's a little different atmosphere. I mean, college football, you think of more atmospheres and just closer feel to the teams, but NFL is just obviously the elite of the elite. So, got some different feels for them. But yeah, we'll got those previews coming up. Obviously, it's going to probably run all through the summer, at least until we can kind of, get it done. And actually, from the 22nd of June to the 5th of July, I'll be on leave. So I'll probably have a lot more time if we want to cram some episodes in. That's when I'll be, completely doing nothing. So
this is my last week before my promotion takes effect too. So on the 8th of June. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Hey, she got anything? I mean, right now, again, just kind of previewing what's going to come. This is not really a segment per se. We're just kind of giving everybody an idea of what to look forward to.
How were those pork chops last night, Ace?
Yeah. Portofino's pork chops pretty good.
Plug for
potatoes and asparagus. I liked it all.
They come. They're like. They are huge. Or they're not, Ace. And they give you two. I mean, they're pretty good size. Center cut pork, and then they're thick, and they grill them, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
But
I haven't had Portofino's in a long
I think
time,
Ace likes to just stand there and caveman those things.
Yeah, that's definitely something Ace does. Of course, well, he wasn't with y'all. He came and picked y'all up though, but he obviously got the leftovers of us.
Yeah,
he got to eat some of them, what y'all didn't eat, but just fair. You're gonna have a DD.
We went out. Yeah, we Ubered out there and had some spirits and, some food and hung out. And then Ace came and picked us up.
I had some nice glasses of Crown Vanilla last night with the smash burgers I made. Yeah. And then Ashley got some Blanton's. We found it. So we went to Specs and we got the Buffalo Trace, which was used to make the old fashions. And she asked about Blanton's. And the person was like, yeah, we have them. They're in the back, though. You have to ask at the register because we keep it back there. We asked the person, we were like, hey, y'all got Blanton's, like how much is it? He told us the price. And she was like, okay, well, now we know y'all at least have it. We'll get it next time. And he goes, well, he was like, we actually just got them today. He said, we only got 12 bottles and they will be gone by tomorrow. So we said, screw it. We'll go ahead and get it. And we're going to save it for maybe a special occasion or something. But yeah, very, very hard, very, very limited in what they do. Because it's single barrel, right? So it's just a single barrel. So that's why there's such a small, amount, at a time. And that's why they can only send out a certain amount. It's very, very hard. Buffalo Trace is also hard to find. And, it's the, what is it called?
Yeah, when they cure that stuff, when they age it, the single barrels and the small batches, they just don't have as much.
Well, also,
and of course, they do the blended.
So you're also, this is why Buffalo Trace and Blanton's is so hard to find, right? It's because of what's called the Pappy Halo effect. Pappy Van Winkle and George T. Stagg. Those bottles are impossible to find, so drinkers quickly pivot to the Buffalo Trace and the Blanton's because of how hard it is to get the Pappy Van Winkle, which is made by Buffalo Trace, and the George T. Stagg. So because of the rarity of those two, it causes a lot of people to go and buy Blanton's and Buffalo Trace. Also, another reason why Blanton's is so popularly sought after, it has a secondary market because guess who drinks Blanton's all the time? John Wick. It's his favorite bourbon in the movie. You see Blanton's bottles in the movie. He drinks it.
Yeah.
Yep. So that created a secondary market where people get it because John Wick had it. That's why. So, but yeah.
That's just nuts.
So, but anyways, just update y'all on, what we got. But
okay.
So now we're going to move on to MLB. We're going to talk about the MLB. We're going to give some updates after this. But first, I want to get into the CBA negotiations and the salary cap right now, because this is kind of an interesting thing going on. But I'm going to give y'all just a brief rundown of this article, and then we can kind of go into it, talk about it, and then get y'all's thoughts. Because Ace asked about this earlier before you were on, about teams having to adjust, and we'll get into that. But the MLB proposed a salary cap system Thursday, marking the league's first foray into overhauling the sport's economic structure in more than 3 decades. The long-awaited proposal would set a hard cap of $245.3 million and a hard floor of $171.2 million, aiming to shrink the disparity among team payrolls by a significant amount. The league's proposal also called for a 50-50 revenue split, so a 50-50 revenue split and the centralization of all television revenue. This came one day after MLBPA made a wide-ranging opening offer that called for a soft floor. The difference between the two show why those around the sport expect a protracted fight leading up to December 1st expiration of the CBA. This is different than the last negotiation, in which the sides were negotiating money within an agreed-upon system. This time, the MLB wants to change the system entirely. The MLBPA does not, and until the sides agree on a framework to govern the sport, the 2027 season will be in peril. So there you go. You have the MLBPA that just simply asked for a hard floor, and the MLB has come out and said, okay, you're going to have a floor, but you're also going to have a hard cap. And there's your ceiling, and 50-50 revenue split now. So it's going to be equal among the MLB and the MLBPA and the players. So this could really, really put 2027 in jeopardy. Obviously, we'll get through this season, but it's teams like the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Mets. The Mets are going to have to make the most adjustments. Even the Braves, these teams are going to have to find a way to scale back on their payroll next year if this gets implemented and if this goes forward. $245.3 million. Again, there's 8 teams that are above that right now. So
revenue sharing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the players get just as much as the owners. Yeah, and that's crap. That's crap. An owner is just by title alone is bound to a loyalty. A player isn't. That is I don't want to be political here, but that kind of sounds a little bit like a communism or socialism. It's you always hear that all the time. And listen, I've never been a rich guy. I've never been a big business guy or whatever, but I've never had a problem with my employer making more money than me. Okay. Because, what's the risk to me? I mean, I lose, I'll go get another job, or something, or if I quit or whatever, owners can't really do that if they bust, if they fail. The thing is, what do you like, security, or do you like, I don't know. I think that's going to cause a problem, and I don't think it's right. I just don't think it's right. Yes, I think the rich people, should get more than the non-rich people if the rich people are taking all the risk and they're investing all the capital. Okay, so hate me, sue me, whatever. I've done pretty well without having, that. So
go ahead.
I get what you mean. And for me, what this means ultimately, like my biggest question of when I asked you before this was how is this, cap? This is going to significantly affect a team like the Dodgers, who have a guy like Ohtani on this minimalistic contract that is going to extend for years and years and years, right? I mean, this guy's not going to be playing and still getting paid with how his contract is looking. So it's like, how is this going to affect his contract and affect the Dodgers spending? Because if the Dodgers and Yankees couldn't spend this money, they wouldn't be that good. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. That's kind of the truth, man. If they can't pay players, they'd suck. All right. The Braves have been doing it. All right. We have so many, and don't get me wrong, I get the payroll has now hit up there. I get that. Okay. But with how it is, I mean, look at how many guys on the Dodgers are making way too much money than any other team would pay them, and where they would be if the Dodgers didn't come along and sign them. None of those guys would be playing for the Dodgers they're building super teams. I'm not mad at super teams by no means. I understand it's a part of the game. Okay, I mean, look, that's all the NBA does. That's all the NBA is now. Guys want to be on super teams. All right, that's why the NBA sucks now. That's another topic for another discussion.
Yeah,
but I'm not mad at the cap. Okay, I understand it, but I don't like the owner and players getting stuck in this parameter. owners being stuck in the same parameter. That's not
So
that's
there's
not
two
right, man. I mean,
issues here. There's the revenue sharing, and then there's the cap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I gave you my thoughts on the revenue sharing. I mean, if a player goes in there and they say, we're going to pay you $20 million per year for whatever, that's a contract, boom, that's it.
Yep.
You don't get any other revenue. Okay. Your money's guaranteed. They got to pay you even if you go out there and suck for 5 years, or they got to figure something out.
Yep.
So, you're getting paid. Cool. Great. And then when they sell a Bryce Harper jersey, okay, Bryce Harper gets some of that money. Okay.
he should.
Whatever is in his agreement, and he pays an agent all agents are lawyers now. Okay. There is not one agency out there representing any professional athlete that isn't. All of their agents are lawyers, or their staff that way. So they understand the contracts. Yep. And so, that's it. Now, on to the cap. I'm with you, Ace. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I'm a guy I've been a small market fan. Okay. The Oakland was a small market. Okay. The San Antonio Spurs, fan of the Spurs for a long time, small market, and they were still able to compete. You either have to be smart, or you have to figure out a way to, to get more money. I mean, the Braves played the Marlins earlier this year, and they played on a Tuesday, and they played at start time was like 3:00. Okay. Or 4:00. And the hope was, hey, pick your kids up from school, come out to the game, avoid the rush hour, just anything to get more people to the games, And so you got to try things like that and figure that out. Also, if you're like, well, all these owners are, holding money or whatever, and you get owners that they want to be in the club. They're a professional franchise owner, and they don't spend enough money. They don't compete. They mismanage the bejesus side of the team, and then if fans still want to show up or whatever, that's great. If they still want to be fans, then the owner is allowed to keep doing that. Okay, but don't. I mean, I hate the Dodgers. Okay, they are. We beat them 2 out of 3. We could sweep them when they come to Atlanta. And then we go meet them in October, and that's going to be a hard win, man, because they've got all these players. The Mets, they're starting to get it figured out. All that money they spend, the Yankees. Listen, I don't begrudge them. Okay, I don't begrudge someone. If you're playing a sport and the other person is trying to win, and you get offended because they're trying harder than you are because they want to win, you've got the problem. Okay, so I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the hard cap.
I don't either. And here's my explanation of it. I know a lot of people that are like, well, the Dodgers are ruining baseball. The Dodgers are ruining baseball. And I don't think they are. And here's why. It's because just because they spend the money doesn't mean you win. Look at the Mets, right? Okay. The Mets have spent more than anybody, and they've been terrible. And then you have a team like the Rays, right? Who have spent very, very middle. Like they're where the floor would be, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're leading the AL. Like they're right behind the Braves. They're right there with the Braves, right? Best record in baseball, close to it. And they aren't spending any money. Here's why. You have GMs that they're very, very good at analyzing talent. They're good at making moves. They're good at negotiating. They find great deals. You got guys like the Rays GM, Alex Anthopoulos for the Braves. I mean, Anthopoulos for the last 6 years has assembled some of the best Braves teams in history without having to spend as much as the Dodgers or the Mets or the Yankees. And it's like, when we signed Acuna to that 8-year, $100 million deal a while back, everybody's like, oh, that's a big contract. And it's like, not really, man. That's not that. It's not that much compared to what most people.
A year for what the guy can do. That's
for what he can do, And then you look at somebody like, I don't know, Chris Sale, where you're really only giving him like $14 million a year when Chris Sale could make $20 million a year money. It's just like he's found ways to find trading for Dubon and giving him a very, very, low $2-3 million salary. Look what Dubon's doing. Like you have GMs that are very, very in touch with the players, the organization, and they know all the way down to the bottom. Then you have GMs that are out of touch, like the Mets.
You got some knuckleheads.
Like the Mets GM, David Stearns. Okay, that dude's an idiot. He thinks, okay, well, I'm a Harvard graduate, so I can work the numbers and I can do this. It's like, no, you don't know baseball, and that's why it's failing for them. See, so it all comes down to the GM. You have to hire somebody that knows baseball. And my point in this is the salary cap is not going to stop the Dodgers or whatever from winning still. It's just not.
Right.
They're going to find ways to win because they have a good GM, they have good management, and they have good players. And even if they have to scale back a little bit, they're going to have enough talent to beat everybody still. They just are. So I agree. I don't agree with it, but it's probably going to happen, Chief. At least.
And the Players Association, they don't want a salary cap because that limits all the money at some point. And so I say no salary cap and no to the revenue sharing. That's like a good compromise in a negotiation.
So go ahead, Ace.
Go ahead, Ace.
So I do understand the salary cap. I really do. I mean, I know the NBA has it, right? NFL has it.
NFL has it, yeah.
Right. So why I understand why doesn't baseball have it. I get when people bring that up. However, if the salary cap gets in place, all right, this is going to take someone like the Yankees and the Mets who are very good because they have the money at outspending whatever they have. So, for example, let's look at the Mets when they had Justin Verlander and Schwarzer. They basically just outpaid those contracts. Now, how many teams can do that? Just outpaid those contracts for trade, paid it out completely, let those players go, and got in new stars. This will eliminate teams from doing that, and will therefore make those teams. Okay, when you get stuck with a bad contract, okay, what was it when the Yankees had Stanton, or they still do, or whatever? That dude is still getting paid way too much. So. That's what he's getting paid so much, man, so much. I mean, look at
aren't the Mets still paying?
They can move around that. They can move around that. So the Yankees can move around that, man. That's the thing. Like, hey, if Oakland were to get stuck with that, they'd be screwed. Nothing they could do. A third of their salary is paid to that guy. So basically, what this does is it takes that overspending advantage and it lowers it. But my question is, what's more important, having deep pockets or having a smart front office? What's more important now, if this does go in place? Because the deep pockets thing is about to be ran out. Because, like you said, it's very possible the salary cap, really does go into effect. So
it is. But
I don't like the idea of legislating out stupidity. I like it when some people are dumb. Okay,
I agree.
You have to, because it's not illegal. You really can't penalize people for being stupid. So let them penalize themselves. And if these teams are, I don't know. And then what it'll do is, like you said, it's going to change the course for some teams. Period. I don't think it'll affect the Braves. I think the Braves will be fine. So if they have to cut, they have to cut. But
this is kind of, I'm gonna read y'all this. So this is the same from the same article. Why is the MLB PA opposed to a salary cap? So the first thing is, beyond the fact that the players think the game is in a good place. So a lot of the players think the game's in a good place right now, and there's no need for it. That's one of the reasons. It's like there's no need. We're fine right now. Two, while a large swath of players do agree that the financial gap between high and low spending teams can cause disadvantages, everyone has seen that what I brought up, a well-run, thin budget can succeed, as opposed to poorly constructed top dollar teams where there's no chemistry. So we're seeing that thin budget, well-run organizations can succeed, right? You don't have to spend that much. We see it.
No doubt.
We see it multiple teams this year. So what the league sees as a competitive balance issue, the union is framing it as one of competitive integrity. So the proposal of the eponymous tax is the union's rejoinder to a cap, through which the league is saying that the teams which spend a lot and ostensibly are all in on winning must be restricted. The players disagree. The problem, the players say, is that the teams that don't spend are not sufficiently prioritizing winning. That's their goal. The teams that aren't sufficiently spending aren't prioritizing winning right now, and they're trying to build for something later, which is not bad for the game. It's not. You're going to have teams that suck, okay? Some teams just are going to lose fucking 100 games in a year. It's just going to happen, okay? There's always some teams every year that have got to finish. But someone's got to finish at the bottom, right? Somebody has to. Not everybody is going, well, let's make everybody spend the same amount of money, and then, everybody will be good. No, somebody's going to win and finish first, and somebody's going to finish last. It's the way it is.
Yeah, in the NFL, every team can't be 9-8.
No,
that doesn't work out.
It doesn't work that way. It never does. So, but yeah, if this goes in, it's definitely going to change some things, and it's probably going to get rid of a lot of these guaranteed contracts too, because teams are not going to want to be like, all right, well, we'll pay you 5 years and we'll guarantee you for the first 4. No, they're going to be like, all right, show us what you can do this year. and then we'll see if we want to go next year with you again. And it
Mhm.
might actually cut down. If there's a
Yeah.
salary cap, it might cut down on these long supermax contracts. It might.
Mhm.
That's what I think.
Like Otani's. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. But they just deferred his out, so they are going to have to restructure it. All these teams, if this goes in, are going to have to restructure deals. They're going to have to. And it means either that some of these players are going to leave the Dodgers and the Braves and the Yankees, or they're going to take a little less money.
Mhm.
I don't believe everybody's going to stay in the same spot. So, anyways, that's it. That's kind of what's going on between the MLB right now. MLBPA and the MLB, the negotiations are not really going well at the moment.
I'd rather not see a lockout or a strike, so we could watch baseball. But so let's hope it doesn't come to that. But otherwise,
anyways, one thing before we do go,
I'm just a fan, so I don't care.
We're going to MLB now. Updates and just kind of what's going on in the league. I'm going to start off. Braves obviously still playing well. Acuna finally 5 home runs in 4 games. He's finally getting hot. He's feeling himself. He's made the adjustment. Austin Riley has still not made an adjustment.
No,
all year he hasn't made an adjustment. But Acuna has made the adjustment.
He'll have a game or two here or there, and and he is driving in some runs. But
he's not in a slump. He's just not producing the way he needs to. Not to what the fans expect.
Not what he's been capable of, and not what he's getting paid. So
$22 million Ace a year.
Acuna's getting it figured out, stealing bases.
Riley,
well, at least we don't have Stanton. Stanton is getting paid $25 million.
I know, but think about this, Ace. Riley is your highest paid player based on salary. He's getting paid more than everybody, and he is performing worse than everybody.
Yeah, I know that's bad, man. It's bad.
So I don't know. Look, they lost today. The Braves lost to the Reds, but they won the series again. Another series. They're 16-1-2 in series this year. I think
they're fine.
Yeah, and I saw the Braves are the first.
You can't play a team like Cincinnati and just. I mean, it's hard to sweep them, and so they got a winning record. They're in it. They're competitive. So it happens. It's baseball.
The Braves
win 2 out of 3 over and over and over and over. You're the best team in baseball. So
the Braves are the 5th team in MLB history to hit 40 wins before June 1st. So the other teams are the 2024 Phillies and then the 1920s and 30s Yankees.
What about the 85, 84, or 85 Detroit Tigers though? They hit 35 and 5 record at one point.
Yeah, but they didn't hit 40 until what was it?
Is that the team?
I don't think it was them.
35. Yep, they were 84. They were 35 and 5. Start off. They ended up 104 and 58. So they didn't finish so sharp. They went like 70 and 50.
Yeah, I think that 35 and 5 start. They started losing a lot. They went on a losing streak, but I think they hit their 40th win after June.
Yeah. They did win the World Series. So,
but yeah. But it's funny because it's got the Phillies, the Braves from the last 2-3 years as the two of the teams, and then the other 3 are like the Yankees from the 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so yeah. The Braves have been, like I said, 40 wins before June is a big deal, and of course the schedule and the season and how many games they've crammed in. It's probably why, right? Like you play more games, everything's crammed in. Those first 2 months, there's a lot of baseball, and then it starts to lay off a little bit. So again, that's probably why we just played a lot more games. The modern day teams in these last 5 to 10 years have played more games by June than teams did before. So yes, it's the fast-paced nature of the beginning of the season and how they have it now. So, but they're still doing well. Yeah. I don't know if y'all want to give your updates. I know Ace. I don't know if you follow very much into baseball.
Yeah. No. I have. So for me, my thing that I've been really surprised on, and that has actually hit my phone 3 times in the past few days, has been the Tigers and their pitching with Tariq. What's his last name? Skubal. Is that how you say it? Yeah, that dude showed some side level young stuff. Right now, he would be my vote to get it. I don't see any other pitchers up there that are doing things he's doing. I mean, his hit and miss ratio is insane, man. I mean,
it's a little interesting that
they have a terrible record.
It's interesting that Skubal is doing so well.
They're on the upcoming, bro.
It's interesting that Skubal's doing so well because a couple weeks ago he had some loose bodies in his elbow. And I'll tell you what, he's full sending it right now. By the end of the season, he will have Tommy John. I promise you he will. He's pitching all out right now, which is cool. It's full
man.
send, no holds barred, letting it fly right now. When pitchers start doing that, when pitchers get that initial diagnosis, okay, your elbow's starting to, and then they just start letting it loose because they can't do anything else. That's the only way. By the end of the season, done. Promise you, he will not make it through the season. He just won't. He won't. When you do that, you have to let up a little bit. The fact that they're like, okay, go back out there and just send it. And he is just as hard as he can every single pitch. Because if you watch him pitch, that's what he's doing. And he wasn't doing that until the Braves. Remember when we were playing the Braves, Chief? I said it. When he stepped off and he started grabbing his elbow and he needed a second, I was like, something's wrong. What did he do right after that? He started throwing it even harder and harder and harder. That's how you know he's going to have some issues later on.
I don't care. Right now, he's the best left-handed pitcher in baseball.
He is, but he's not going to make it through the season. Just not. Not when you have loose bodies like that in your elbow and you're out there just windmilling it. You're just sending it as hard as you can, and you're like, I know it hurts, but I'm just continue, and that's what he's doing. He's just pushing through the pain, and it's going to hurt him. So
on a team that is not very
16
good,
games under 500.
They have the worst record in baseball. Yep. They are a half game behind the Rockies.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, for Pete's sake, the Mets are better than them.
I know. The Mets they're getting better. The Mets are getting better. Okay. They're getting
once they get through with all their injuries and they can get most of their people back, they should be okay. It just might be too late. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
It might be too late for them because there's so many teams that are ahead of them now. I mean, if you're like behind one team or two, but they are deep back in the wild card.
Hey, man. Well, let's also not sleep on the Chicago White Sox, all right?
4, 5, 6,
5
7,
game
8,
winning streak.
They are ninth. Three make it. They're ninth. So
what now? White Sox, the Chicago White Sox.
The White Sox.
Man, they're getting up there, dude. They 5 game winning streak. They're in 5th in the AL. If you go by they're the second wild card team. Insane, right?
Yes,
now. They're ahead of the Yankees. And they're right behind the Yankees.
The Yankees, the Sox, and the Blue Jays. And the A's, the Blue Jays and the A's are right there. They're
look at this too, man. This is funny, Chief. The after the first 5 teams, the last wild card team and the rest of the AL has a losing record. Look at it. It's outside of the top 5, the rest of the AL has a losing record.
Yeah. For me,
yeah, because right now Toronto
really
are the A's. One of those would be in the playoffs with a losing record.
Yes, if they did it right now. Yep.
They did it right now. Yeah, that'll probably change. I don't
obviously,
somebody with 79 wins getting in, but
man, and look at the Rays, dude. 36 and 20. It's look, like we said, man, things can change. We were talking about how the Mets were just completely done for, and well, I mean, they bounced back and won 4 straight, and they're starting to come back to 500 and fight back into it. And it's like, it's about how we said, Chief, remember we said the Marlins and the Nationals will fall off, and that's what they're doing. And the Mets are going to climb. I told you the Phillies would get back in it. They're getting back in it. They're 9 games back. I mean, it's like I said, man, as this goes, man, it's the Braves and the Phillies for the East. If we don't collapse, we'll win it.
Yeah.
If we don't
I told you about the Rays, though.
Big lead.
I know.
I told you about the Rays, though.
That's why I said I feel like the Rays.
Sleeper, man.
The Rays just win with people no one's ever heard of. Every year they just have a new roster, and it's like, all right, let's fresh start. Who's this guy? I don't know. He played in the Pecos League 4 years ago. Bring him up. Let's go. I mean, I don't know. It's the way it is. Guardians are doing good.
The Guardians are good. And
Bruce's
if you look
team
again, run differential, the Dodgers have surpassed the Braves. And I go back to that a lot because I think that tells you a lot. But the Dodgers are plus 121. The Braves are plus 109. The Yankees are plus 93. And then the Brewers are plus 74. The only other team anywhere near that, I mean, and they're not really near that, the Pirates are plus 31. So it is wild. Yeah. So
I mean, that's what you'd expect.
And the Rays are plus 19. Even though they do have technically the second best record.
I don't get how they're doing. I don't.
Yeah.
They're just beating some teams very, very closely. They're just very slim margins in these games. And that's
winning tight games in baseball is good because it prepares you. I mean, you're not going to go out and beat people 7-1 in the playoffs a lot. So you have to, and the Braves have comeback wins. And the Braves have comeback wins. A comeback win is when you're down, so the Braves will be down 3-0, and they'll win 11-4. So they had to come back, but the run differential is +7. So
Yep.
yeah, the Braves are just still looking good. I know they stumbled against against the Nationals, and the Nationals played really good. They had some good pitching performances. We helped a little bit, but they seem to have that figured out. The Rays are good. They're going to be there. The Dodgers, the Brewers,
Yep.
the Yankees. I
The
think
long
all those teams are going to be there, So, yeah.
Okay.
And of course, you got, I think the teams, let me see. I still think the Yankees are going to win that division. Okay.
I think they will in the end. But the
uh,
Rays can get a wild card.
I think Cleveland still wins the
wild card
Central.
sleeper.
And out west, I went with Seattle. I'm going to stay with that. They have a slim lead, and that thing is tight all the way through. Okay, that's the tightest because the fourth place team, the Astros, are only 4 back. So, but nobody is over. Nobody really over impresses. The Braves, of course, I think we still win. I think the Brewers win. I think the Dodgers win. So I've got all the teams leading now, winning and holding that. So my only question, but the biggest worry on those predictions for me is the Mariners, honestly.
I can agree with that.
And the reason is the Mariners, and then the next biggest is the Brewers winning. And the reason is different. In the West, the reason I worry about the Mariners is because nobody's really that good out there. The reason I worry about the Central is because all those teams are good. So it's 2 different reasons why I'm worried. But yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, look, I'm sticking with the guys that I had to win a division. I mean, I don't think anything's really changed enough for me to change like who I think is going to do this or that. But as of right now, like I said, I still think the Cubs will win the Central, Braves win the East, Dodgers win the West, obviously. But yeah, Guardians. You know what? I'm gonna say that the Rangers make a comeback and win the West. I mean, I really do like the Rangers. I think if I had to choose a second team, I'd probably go with them. I like Texas Rangers. They're cool. But yeah, the Yankees. Look, the Yankees are gonna walk down the Rays. They're only 2 behind. It is what it is. The Blue Jays are gonna have to fight. I think the Red Sox and the Orioles are out. I think you can go ahead and count out the Royals and the Tigers. And I think you can count out the Angels in the AL. And NL, I think you can count out the Nationals and
Blue
Marlins.
Jays, that's the next opponent. The
For
Braves
us.
got the Blue Jays this week.
Yeah, be back at home.
And then the Braves got the Pirates. Yeah, they're back home for the Blue Jays and the Pirates.
And they go to the White Sox, the Mets.
Yep.
Ooh, Mets, June 12th to the 14th. Wow.
Yep.
Final.
That's going to be a big
yet.
weekend series. So
we haven't played that.
Yeah, they've got a chance to get it right. They've gotten back healthy. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Well, that's going to be a very interesting series.
Well, I'm gonna pitch in my bonus thing here, what I wanted to talk about. But South Carolina baseball's coaching search. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So right now we have. It looks like it's one of 2 guys. It's either Kevin Schnall from Coastal Carolina or Steve Sapmans from West Virginia. Now, either one I'd be cool with.
Yeah, I'll take either one.
West Virginia is about to win their regional, so they're still in it. But Coastal just got eliminated by FSU in the regional, so they're out. They're done.
Free shoe you.
So I think, hey, I think they might go all in on Schnall, and I mean, the problem is he makes $575,000 a year at Coastal. South Carolina is looking to offer $2 million, $3 million, somewhere in there. So we're going to outbid them. But it's going to come down to Schnall is a alumni of Coastal Carolina. He's from South Carolina. But he grew up near Columbia. So it's kind of a split for him. You played at Coastal. Do you want to stay there and keep going, or do you want to take more money and go back to your hometown? One or the other. And I think I don't know. I just think we ramp up, and I think we have a coach in about a week, and I think it gets done. I think we end up with him. Remember, he took Coastal in his first year. He took Coastal to the freaking runner-up in Omaha. I mean, they lost in the championship. They were there. They lost this regional. So, like I said, this would only be his second head coaching job. Coastal was his first one 2 years ago. And he's had some success with them. So imagine what he could do with South Carolina with our resources, with the money. Because
even at Coastal, but no other teams in the state to pull for. South Carolina and Clemson both had very, very disappointing
Yes.
ridiculously bad seasons. There's no reason both of those programs aren't going to super regional at least every other year. And here we are. So I don't know. But anyway, so hey, listen, we said this last time. Drop reactions in the chat, drop questions in the chat. Also, Drew, do your thing about the email. We have some people who are going to come on, okay? And I'd be fine if we had 3 people every show. I would not have a problem with that. Okay.
Yeah. And I guess aces are regular for Sundays now.
Aces like. Yeah. And I would be okay if
now.
we had 4 or whatever. But if somebody is I tell you what would be cool. And I'm not talking about some fake bandwagon. Okay. But if there's anybody there who is truly, genuinely an Indiana fan, okay, when you had basketball, you got it. You know, you had Coach Knight until these idiot kids, tried to mess it up. Yeah. What's up, Knight? Listen, man, if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Those kids thought, let's just make fun of the old coach. And I promise you, the old coach would have waxed both of those 2 little punks. Yes, I called your little boys punks, mom and dad, if those kids had them. So, but, I want an actual Indiana fan, because that would be really cool to have the perspective of someone who, Indiana has never really been great.
Never.
Okay. And now all of a sudden they are a hair's breadth from 2 undefeated seasons. So yeah, I think the world of Cignetti. Also, Mark Cuban has written an undisclosed amount in a check for the NIL, and a lot of that will go to football. It's going to go to other stuff too. So if Cignetti can get the players that he wants, man, I don't know. The guy just he's no nonsense.
There's a funny story about when they started spring practice and stuff. One of the transfers came out there with some gold cleats on. And Cignetti, they asked Cignetti about it. He goes, yeah, he had to remove those. He said he got an ass chewing. He probably won't do that again. So Cignetti ripped into him. Don't come out here all blinged out stuff. You ain't earned anything yet. So
show up and do the job.
Yeah. So he is, and it's
I like it.
But yeah, and while we do our college football previews, we need to deep dive into the NIL and what it's doing right now, and if they're ever going to put any kind of limitations on it, if they're going to cap things, what kind of legislation, because we know that we don't talk about politics a lot, but we know that there is somebody who happens to be our president who is for legislation for calming back the NIL. He's already tried it multiple times.
They've already let that cat out of the bag. It's not going back in. Okay, you ever try to fit a cat in a bag?
I fit. We fit ours.
If you can get them to go in there, but forcing them in there, they're gonna rip you apart. It's just it's too late, man. It's too late.
Funny.
They should have had the foresight to do this thing right instead of just open up the floodgates and let them go. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
we'll talk about this real quick. Last thing that I'm going to touch on is Steve Sarkisian has been running his mouth about Texas Tech and some other teams in Texas and whatever. Texas Tech's biggest booster, the billionaire he is. He's
that's what's gotten him in trouble in the past is the sauce.
He's talking bad about Texas Tech and all this stuff, and their booster their main booster is a billionaire oil guy, right? He played at Texas A&M. Cody Campbell, he played at Texas A&M. Billionaire, he's pledged all this money to Texas Tech. They got all this stuff, and
we need an oil alumni at South Carolina.
I know, man. We got a bunch of lawyers, but it's different.
Oil money.
Oil money is different, man.
Oil money is bleep you money.
Yeah, I know. It is.
Like
what's funny is, Sarkisian said something about the schedule, and Texas Tech not playing anybody or whatever. Well, Cody Campbell came out he was on Bussin' with the Boys with Will Compton and Taylor Lewan. I know Ace knows that, does the show, their little podcast. And he said, hey, man, he said, I have sent a formal letter to the University of Texas and Coach Sarkisian. He has said that he will buy out their week 1 opponents for the next 2 seasons and buy out Texas's just to schedule them. So he said he will buy out their opponents so that Texas Tech can play them. Sarkisian has not said anything, and neither is the University of Texas. But he has offered to buy out their opponents so that Texas Tech and Texas can play week 1. He ain't playing around. He's like, y'all want to talk about our schedule? We'll play you.
Well, my talking point or what I want to talk about, future is the Arch Manning talk. What is this kid gonna be? What is he gonna be? All right. Is he gonna be that top 5, draft pick? Is he gonna be, one of the greatest college quarterbacks we've ever seen? Is he just gonna be pretty good?
Hey, Chief.
Is he gonna save them? Yeah. How is he gonna keep that Manning legacy going?
That Arch Manning is something, ain't he?
Hey, look, Texas is probably going to get some quarterbacks in the future after him, and they're going to be fine. Whatever, they got the money.
Yeah,
cool. But we'll get it. We'll get into this when we get the college football previews because we're going to hit Texas. We're going to hit.
All right, real quick. Who is the best Manning quarterback?
Peyton. It's Peyton.
Eli beat Tom Brady twice.
It's not Archie. It's not Archie, man. It's not.
Dude,
not
Archie Manning played on the crappiest teams, and he really was a dual threat. Manning. All right, whatever.
There are stories NFL guys talk about Peyton, the great Manning. Okay,
let me tell you something.
No. Peyton's the greatest. All right,
let me tell you something. Who's the greatest quarterback of all time? Let's go ahead. Who's the greatest quarterback of all time?
I mean, how do you argue Brady?
So it's Brady. Well. Who's got their 2 Super Bowl rings against Brady?
That's true. That's
Eli.
true.
Eli,
undefeated in the big game, and not a one-hit wonder either.
No, he did it twice. He beat Brady
Eli
twice.
has as many Super Bowls as Peyton.
That means something.
He does. Yep. But in terms of overall talent and knowledge, just being able to read a defense, understanding, I think it's Peyton. I still think it is. He may not be the most talented. But he is
probably the most the most appropriate minded quarterback ever. Play the game.
It's gotten to the point on Monday Night Football. I watched the Manning cast.
I watched the Manning cast, and I watched it just because
it's just better
because of those guys. And they get some really good guests on there too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, no doubt. But don't sleep on Archie, man. Archie was a good quarterback.
Yeah. So I'll say, I watched the Manning cast, but hey, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in there. The best announcer now in NFL, it's Tony Romo. And the reason is Tony Romo knows what's coming. That dude's got he's like, what do you think they're gonna do here?
Has me lost sometimes.
I think they're gonna fake the handoff here to the right side. They're gonna boot it around and probably try to hit a shot. That's exactly what they do.
I like Bourne. I'm just kidding. That's what Phil Robertson would always say when they talk about action movies and stuff or anything. He'd always be like, I like Bourne. They'd be like, no, what about John Wick? I like Bourne. But I mean,
Robert McCall beats all of them.
But honestly, you know who I like? I like
Beekeeper,
Aikman, man. Yeah, I like Aikman. Aikman's good.
Look, Robert McCall puts all of them in a blender.
I don't think so, man.
No, put Robert McCall and Eddie Jason.
Robert McCall took down the mafia 3 times. He took down Russian mobs and the mafia by himself.
I know, man.
Top to bottom.
Robert McCall is. But have you seen The Beekeeper, Drew?
I have. I've seen it. Okay. Yes.
He just walks up into the middle of. He walks up into the middle of how many people, and in an FBI assault team, a SWAT team, and he walks right up in the middle of them, and he's like, no, that's not an entrance. If it was already would have went in that way, and they're like, what? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's him! And then what happens? It's just every one of them.
By the way,
every one of them.
Hey, and that movie didn't use a weapon until the very end.
Yeah, and he didn't have a gun until at the end.
I know.
Right? Didn't even use the weapon.
I mean, that's unbelievable, man. Nope. He was just destroying people, man. So
these are some good additions.
An entire team of Navy SEALs, and Jeremy Irons said it. He goes, you're all the best of the best, tier 1 operators. And basically to him, you are all pussies. So he just was.
Beekeeper's good, man. He is.
I mean, I'll take the Beekeeper any day. He's on my side.
We need what was that show that used to do the simulations of SEALs versus Rangers and all these.
Yeah. Deadliest Warrior.
You know what we need to do? We need Deadliest Warrior. We need to simulate John Wick versus McCall versus Reacher versus the Beekeeper. But we just need to have all of them. Just do a simulation and let's see who wins that one.
Yeah.
And by Reacher, I mean Alan Richardson.
Michael Jai White. You could put some of his characters in there.
I'm just saying. Look, man. Hey, you have to put in Reacher, but it has to be Alan Richardson Reacher.
Yeah, it has to be Alan Richardson.
It has to be his. He's he's bigger than all of them.
Yeah,
just way bigger than all.
He is bigger than all of them.
So that
and
matters.
he's unbelievably knowledgeable, pays attention to
Mhm.
everything. I mean, the training is evident. So does McCall, Robert McCall.
Yeah,
He's
calls.
the equalizer is every bit as focused and
The
knowledgeable.
dude times everything on his stopwatch,
Yeah,
so he
yeah,
can develop habits and patterns of everything. He knows how long it's gonna. He can literally sit there and figure out how long it's gonna take to clear out a room.
yeah.
I mean, it's like, I don't know, man. It's
Yeah.
just it's hard, but no, we went on for about an hour now. We got off topic, but I like that, dude. I like this. I like when we have our.
This was a
Throwbacks
freestyle.
here. This is a good
So,
freestyle. Yeah, I like this
yeah.
one. But hey, look forward to
So
college.
you
I'm
don't
gonna
just get
start.
sports and food, you also get
Yep.
movie badass talk.
Yep.
So
And we're all big movie guys.
and I did watch, what was it? There's another Statham movie from a little while back. Jessica Alba was in it. Safe Place, something like that. Safe Harbor, something like that. It's a good movie, real good movie. Yeah. So, and then also watch the new one with him.
We watched that.
The Lighthouse.
Yeah, Sheltered. It's called Sheltered.
Sheltered. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was fantastic. So,
Would y'all watch it on? I might go watch it.
Prime.
Probably Amazon. Yeah, it's
Prime.
Prime's got everything. Yeah.
Beekeeper is on Peacock for free.
Yep.
So, but yeah, man, that was some good stuff, man. I like those action movies. So
Yeah,
I like Bourne. Now, I don't think Bourne lasts with any of those guys. Okay, I'm sorry, but
I don't either.
I think the Beekeeper just smashes him. So does McCall. So does Wick.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree. So,
and you look at it this way. Okay, so Wick, whatever, a little bit more of a fight, getting into the fight, but McCall and Reacher and the Beekeeper, they just put people away. It's not like the other person has a whole big bunch of chance in the fights. They just put them away. So I don't. I guess I put those three up top, but I'm rolling with Statham. Out of all those characters, the Beekeeper,
him or McCall. I mean, it's one of those two. I think those are the two most, two most lethal for sure.
Yeah. Now, out of those, Denzel is the best actor.
Yes, definitely he is.
Period.
Denzel's one of the greatest actors ever, man. He just is.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, hey, I know we gotta get off of here.
So next week
we don't want to keep you forever. So
next week we are previewing the Big 12 or something.
Yeah, we'll start with the Big 12.
Of them, probably the Big 12. So then the next week we'll get Ruben on with us to do the ACC.
Okay.
So
sounds good.
Ace,
let's do it.
Love you, kid.
Yeah, you got
Love
anything, Ace?
Love you, Drew.
Be back for the college football previews.
Yep, we'll do those. We'll do those on Sunday.
I really want to hit on the SEC.
Yeah, I think the SEC show is going to be interesting. So I think some people are going to be amazed at some of my Big Ten predictions too. So, but hey, love yourself, love your family, appreciate the people around you. You never know when your number's up. Enjoy your days, enjoy your family, enjoy the things in your life that make you happy. Don't take it for granted.
Good, Ace. It just shakes his head, man. He don't.
Man,
a few words.
He's got nothing.
He's the eye candy, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
Yeah, he thinks he is. No, we all know I'm the eye candy. Come on.
Alexis says he is.
Yeah.
Alexis says I do.
Smash is really the eye candy.
Stacey Gregg says I am. So
Smash is the eye candy. Right. No, Smash is the killer. Ace, that happens when you hit puberty, man.
Come on, man. He is about to start.
We never had that.
Things are going on.
He came on the show a few weeks ago when he was in the background. I was hearing him talk, and his voice done got deep.
It's starting to, yeah.
Squeaky.
It still squeaks a good bit.
But to me, someone who doesn't see him every day like y'all, and who hears him after a couple months, it's like, oh, okay,
yeah,
all right. His voice has gotten a little deeper.
Instead of texting him a lot, you need to talk to him some.
Yeah, he's got that. I don't know. To me, he's just he's getting there. He's going to be a better athlete than both of us, Ace. I don't know why you're trying to talk about his acne. He about to get more girls than all of us. Watch. I think he will.
Not a competition.
Anyways, but that's it. Tailgate Show, guys. Episode 7. I'm going to upload both today. This one and the one we did Friday as well today. Okay. So you'll have 2 episodes for anybody. Yep. Both of them today. Just got to wait for this one to download. The other one's ready, but this one will take a minute because it was long. So, but appreciate y'all coming on. Get ready for the college football specials coming up.
That's right. Got some research to do. I think I've done most of mine. All right, guys.
Same.
Love you.
Love you.